Let me bring in my very good friend, former National Security Advisor, Ambassador Robert O'Brien. Robert O'Brien, welcome back. So they're going to meet. They're not going to meet as equals. Putin may not agree with what I've just written, but they are not equals. Trump is king of the hill right now. He's at the top of his game. And I think if Putin underestimates him, and if Putin doesn't play ball with this, Putin and Russia are going to suffer big time. But you tell me, Ambassador, what do you think?
Well, Larry, listening to your riff, the only thing I could keep thinking out, the thing that was going through my head was Napoleon Bonaparte. Whoa. We haven't seen an energetic executive on the world stage overseas and reordering the economy, reordering the education system, reordering Make America Healthy again, taking back the cities. I mean, what President Trump is doing in America alone would make him the greatest president in history, potentially. But he's also overseas solving wars, India, Pakistan, Rwanda, Congo, places people don't even think about, Cambodia, Thailand. And now the biggest of all is going to go solve the Russia-Ukraine situation. So I was going to say this is similar to what Teddy Roosevelt did, right, when he solved the Russo-Japanese War in 1906. But after listening to your riff, I could just keep thinking, this is Napoleon. This is but the difference between Trump and Napoleon, Larry, is Napoleon did it through force of arms. Trump is doing it through force of will, through his courageousness, his strength, and the strength of America. It's incredibly impressive.
And freedom and free elections, too. Let's stipulate that. I think it's Napoleon-like. That's a very interesting thought. But it comes through freedom and free elections and then, great success. I mean, Mr. Trump is, he has said, look, he'll know in a couple of minutes. All right. You and I know, we've been with him and spent a lot of time in the first term. He'll know in a couple of minutes whether Putin is serious or not. If Putin is not serious, Robert, that's the thing. If he's not serious, then I got to believe the economic sanctions, the tariffs, the oil sanctions, not only what Trump has already said or threatened, but it'll be worse than that. It will be worse than that. I mean, we have the authority. Mr. Trump has the power, frankly, to squeeze Russia's economy down so badly he can literally starve them out if Putin misbehaves. What you think there?
Well, you're 100% right, and you and I have talked about this, Larry. He can turn them into Rhodesia, like back in the day. The world economy is still dollar denominated. If he puts sanctions on the Russian Federation Central Bank, if he kicks them out of the SWIFT system, they're done. They can't trade. If he puts secondary sanctions on the oil sales, if the Europeans go forward and seize the Russian Federation Central Bank reserves that are held in Europe, Russia's over. Putin's only play is to become a colony of Xi Jinping of China, and a junior partner and a colony of the Chinese. Putin doesn't want that. But what President Trump can do is show him the dark side, show him that Russia's over if they don't play ball. But he can also say, hey, we're going to make the G7 the G8. We're going to invite you with the big boys and the cool kids table at the school cafeteria, and you can come with us. We can open up oil exploration in the Arctic. We can open up markets to you. We can make Russia great again. And so Putin's at a fork in the road. He can either become a colony or a satrap of Beijing, or he can make Russia a great country. And Trump is the person who can allow him to do that. And so it's going to be a very interesting fork in the road for Putin. He's going to have to decide what he wants to do.
What do you make of Mr. Trump's pledge that if the talks go well with Putin tomorrow, he would like to immediately, that is Mr. Trump's word, follow him up with talks that bring in Zelensky? What do you make of that?
Well, that's the energy that we're talking about. That's the energetic leader that the Russians acknowledge, that you talked about in your rift, at the top of the show. That's Trump saying, we're going to get this thing going. If there's momentum out of Alaska, we're going to keep going. We're going to get it done. But it's also President Trump doing something that he's not going to impose a peace on Zelensky. He's not going to take a part of Ukraine and give it to Russia. It's up for the Ukrainians to do that themselves. They're going to have to make peace with the Russians. Trump is going to set the table and give them the opportunity to make peace, but ultimately it's going to be up to the Ukrainians and the Russians to do it. He's not going to be Neville Chamberlain showing up at Munich and taking part of Czechoslovakia, Sudetenland, and giving it to Hitler and saying we now got peace in our time, he's going to say, I've set the table for you gentlemen to sit down, work out your differences, and get a deal.
Well, I think it's very good. We're going to jump out, but Mr. Trump has been very deferential to Zelensky, right? Saying, I'm not going to make territorial decisions. That's up to him. He's been very deferential to the Europeans. As I said in the riff, he's made peace with Europe. He got 5% GDP commitment on defense. He got a great trade deal with the EU. A lot of folks thought that was not possible on either front. He's been very deferential, very clever, I think very, very smart. But, you know, it's carrot and stick for the deal maker in chief. I'll give you the last word, because I'm going to say this. If Putin screws around, if he doesn't deliver something, if he tries to do something foolhardy, I mean, they are not meeting as equals. They are not meeting as equals, Robert. That's one of the points that I want to make. That whatever Putin may think with his swelled head and God knows what, they are not equals on the world stage. Not anymore. Not by a long shot. This is Donald J. Trump. This is not Joe Biden or some lesser, Obama type guy. I mean, Lord help Putin and Russia if they try to screw around. I'm going to give you the last word.
Putin should not try and tap him along. He's been tapping him along. He's irritated the president. The president has put himself in a position to mediate this deal with Zelensky and Putin. This is Putin's opportunity. If he blows it, he could be blowing it for his country for 100 years.
Robert O'Brien, former National Security Advisor. Ambassador O'Brien, thank you very much. We appreciate it so much.